all of you. I hope the month of Ramadan is going good for all of you. Jumatul Wida hai aaj. It's about to end. Uh, Today we are here again for our third session, and it's a technical session this time. And today we have invited Fahim Ahmed, who is a technical manager in Orient Engineering Services. So we are here with Fahim. There was a glitch. Mute करना मैं भूल गया वहाँ पे. So Fahim is technical manager in Orient Engineering Services. He's a chemical engineer by qualification, and he graduated back in 2003. Then he did his MBA from LUMS. He's an expert in industrial water treatment, and this includes cooling water treatment, boiler treatment, RO plants, and all types of applications of HVAC systems. So we are very grateful to Fahim for sparing some time for us and joining us for this discussion today. So today we'll be talking about the importance of water treatment in the industry, the applications, how important is water treatment for any industry, and how the treatment programs are being run in Pakistan and worldwide. Is there any difference between the treatment programs between the small and medium scale industry versus the large industry that is there in Pakistan and abroad? Some of the technological advancements that we have in water treatment. So these are some of the topics that we'll be discussing today. How competitive is the market in water treatment sector, and how to bring cost efficiencies in the treatment program. So some of the challenges that are there in water treatment sector, and what could be the consequences of a badly run sort of a treatment program. So let's start our discussion with Fahim. Fahim, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us today.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It is always an honor to be with you. For those people who don't know me and Mushfiq, we are good friends and class fellows. We are from the same batch. We graduated from Punjab University in 2003. And I'm very fortunate to have people around me who are working within the industries, and I have been in contact with them. And since I've been associated with water treatment industry since 2005, so I had the opportunity to discuss the opportunities and the problems, solutions with my friends in the industry. So one thing that I would like to clarify, I'm not an expert on water treatment, but I do have an exposure to this industry for many years now, and I'm still learning. So I would love to share my thoughts on today's session, and I would love to have questions because it is going to be an open discussion session. I have not prepared anything as such. I have no doubt outlined a few things, a few technical terminologies that are being used in the industry, which I will be sharing with the audience. But it would be more appropriate if you have any questions, you can keep on asking during the session and we will discuss. So,
perfect. So, Fahim, how the Corona time is going for you?
Well, in the beginning, it was very disturbing, I would say, and at the same time, it was stressful because a lot of news being circulated on all social media groups, and it was nothing but a depression that was taking up. But gradually, things have been, settled down. Things are not that bad as we perceived it to be. Allah रहम करे, आगे भी ऐसे ही रहे अच्छा. But now things are improving mentally, I would say. And we have opened our office a few weeks ago, and we have started going there on and off on alternate days. So life is getting back to normal.
Yeah, industries are also opening up, so probably we'll see some improvement in the industry.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Fahim, let's start with this question: that what is water treatment for an industry, and what are the different applications of water treatment in any industry?
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's a very basic and very important question. So what is water treatment? So as the name implies, it is the treatment of the water. So what water are we talking about? Any sort of water that is being used in the industry. Either it is for the wastewater treatment, either it is for the water that is being circulated into the heat exchangers, boilers, RO plant. So whatever treatment we do with the water that is being used in industry is called water treatment. So there are different terminologies and different applications that are being used. For example, I have just outlined it that in my opinion, there are two type of technologies that are being used. One is that mechanical and the other one is chemical. So when I say mechanical, what I'm referring to actually is any treatment of water that requires the mechanical equipment, like clarification is an example of mechanical water treatment. Sand filtration, multimedia filtration, water softening, green filtration for the removal of iron, ultrafiltration, which is now picking up very good awareness in the industry, RO, reverse osmosis treatment, deionization, degasification. All these types of treatments are considered mechanical treatment, in my opinion. Then there is another type of water treatment which is not very well known, or people are not very well aware of it, especially the students and the young engineers. That is the chemical treatment. So mechanical treatment is one part where we have the equipment, we design the equipment, we do the treatment of water and then use it in different applications in the industry. But when we look at the chemical treatment, we have different types of chemicals which are used to protect metals from corrosion. They minimize the corrosion potential. Then we have chemicals to avoid or eliminate the deposition of water salts. Then we have chemicals for the uh, what you call for the treatment of microbiological growth in the water. So these are different type of waters chemicals that are being used for the water treatment. So one is the mechanical part, which just changes the properties of water. By properties, I'm not referring to, they are not changing the phase of the liquid, but they are changing the composition of water. For example, in clarification, if we talk about clarification, it removes the suspended particles from the water. So you are treating water mechanically by removing the suspended matters. If you go to water softening, you are removing the hardness salts out of water. If you go to ultrafiltration, you are removing microorganisms from the water. If you are going to reverse osmosis, you are actually removing all of the salts. Not all, technically speaking, but about 95 to 99% of the salts are removed, and water becomes uh, pure water without any contamination or without any salts in it. So mechanical treatment changes the property of water. In chemical treatment, we are not changing the chemistry or the composition of water, but we are injecting certain chemicals to treat that water so that it can be safely used in the industry. We do not want to corrode our equipment. We do not want to reduce the heat transfer efficiency of the heat exchangers. So we inject these chemicals. So these are the very broadly spoken uh, applications. And when we come to chemical side, there are different chemicals which are used. I would like to share a small uh, slide show which I have prepared for this presentation, if you allow me.
Yeah, sure.
I hope you can see the screen.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the chemicals, there are different type of chemicals for different processes. What I'm showing right now on the screen is basically an open recirculating system. So what does it mean? It means that there is a cooling tower which is used to cool down water. And I hope most of the engineers and students are aware of this arrangement. So cooled water goes through the heat exchanger, any heat exchanger, which where we need to control the temperature of the process fluid. It this cooled water takes up heat and goes back to the cooling tower where it evaporates and then again cool down. Now during this process of cooling, a lot of water is evaporated and all of the salts that are present in water gets contaminated or get settled down into the mainstream. So this water, after getting cooled, becomes more concentrated. So when we are circulating more concentrated water into the heat exchanger, there is a greater potential that our heat exchanger tubes or plates may get fouled with suspended matter, because this cooling tower is open to atmosphere. So there is a possibility that heat exchanger can get fouled with corrosion products. It can get fouled with scale or suspended matter, or even by the microbiological contamination like bacteria, fungi, SRBs, Legionella. There are different types of bacteria. So since we are recirculating it again and again, the potential of deposition and the problem increases. So this arrangement where water comes in direct contact with the atmosphere, we refer to it as an open recirculating system. And we have a different chemical treatment approach for such circuit. The other type of circuit is a closed cooling water circuit. In this, if you look at this diagram, here is a heat exchanger. These two arrows, if you can see the pointer, are coming in from the open circuit side. So this cooling water is circulating within the closed loop. It is not being exposed to the atmosphere, but it is exchanging heat, taking up heat load, and then discharging the heat to the atmosphere or to the other circuit, and then getting back into the circuit. So this is an entirely closed loop where water is not being exposed to the atmosphere at all. So we have a different treatment approach for this kind of water circuits, and we call it as a closed cooling water system. And these open and closed circuits are very common in the industry. Now, if we go to the third type of, there are many others, but I am just focusing on three types. The boiler water system. Here we have mechanical as well as chemical treatment. We have the pre-treatment system. For example, we have deionization, maybe RO or water softening. And this water, after being treated mechanically, it goes to the deaerator of a boiler, where oxygen is liberated and oxygen-free water gets into the feed water tank. Now, why we are removing oxygen is then again a different discussion, but to put it short, we are removing oxygen to minimize the impact of corrosion or the potential of corrosion. This deaerated water then goes to the boiler where steam is produced. Obviously, when we are producing steam, the bulk quantity of water which is inside the boiler, it gets contaminated with more salts, and there is a potential of more deposition. So we need to treat this water as well. Now, when steam goes and it is utilized, sometimes steam is utilized as steam in different processes. Sometimes we are using it as a heating medium where steam gets condensed and the condensate is being returned to conserve water. So this condensate return line also requires treatment because pure steam is nothing but pure water. And when we are producing steam, there is a potential, or there is a not a potential, but there is a fact that carbon dioxide is also produced. And these two streams, the oxygen, the water, and carbon dioxide, they combine together to form carbonic acid in the condensate line, and we have to treat that. So in a boiler system, it is a more complicated system, and we have to do treatment according to the need of the various applications. The boiler water treatment have different type of chemicals which we need to treat. So the mechanical treatment is just this part, which is the pre-treatment system, but the chemical treatment comes in at every stage throughout the boiler water system. So this was just to give you an idea of what uh, are different type of applications where water treatment is required. So another question which you asked, that why do we need to do water treatment, if I heard you correctly? It is because water is considered a very scarce and precious resource. And there is a very hot debate going on these days that we need to conserve water. So whatever we are doing, whatever treatment that we do with water, is the idea behind is to conserve the water consumption so that we can reuse it instead of wasting it and using fresh water again and again. So the idea behind water treatment is to conserve water. So I hope this clarifies, or this gives a very brief overview of the water treatment application that we have. And if you have any question. Sorry, I can't hear you, Mushfiq.
Yeah, so you can hear me now.
Yeah.
So, very elaborated reply, I think, Fahim, from you. We already have a couple of questions, I think 4 5 questions now. Moses
Sure.
Mansoor is asking that regarding clarification type water treatment, is there any technological upgrade that can be beneficial to the industry?
Clarification. I mean, clarification. What modification do we expect from clarification? Clarification is just you are allowing the suspended metal to settle down by gravitational forces. What we can do is we can use different type of chemicals which can enhance the settlement, the rate of the settling or the settling rate. So that is what I believe modification can be done, or you can design different type of clarification. I have seen that some of the clarification clarifiers now have a pre-treatment section before going into the clarifiers, where you try to remove suspended matter as much as possible, and then you reduce the load on the clarifiers. So these type of modifications can be done, but basically the use of chemicals, the coagulants and flocculants, is more important when you talk about increasing the efficiency of a clarifier.
Okay, wonderful. Narmeen ने पूछा है for acid free treatment, can acid cause corrosion in the system? If yes, above which concentration of acid?
Well, that's a, I mean, I do not have a definite answer to it, but it's a very good question, I would say. Acid, now, I mean, acid, when you talk about acid, the pH of acid is around 2 to 3 pH units. But when we use it in water, what is the pH level that we are trying to maintain in cooling water? That defines the corrosion potential. I do not have a graph right now with me, but I would love to share, but I need to find it out later on. Maybe I can show you. Uh, we use sulfuric acid in cooling water applications to control the pH according to the need of the treatment program. For example, generally acceptable limit is from 7.5 to 8.2 pH units. This is in bigger industries, even in smaller industries, this is the pH range where we use sulfuric acid and to control the pH. Now, this pH is not at all acidic at all, because above 7, this pH is already, we are in the alkaline side. So sulfuric acid dosing is not corrosive as such, but how you are using it could be corrosive. For example, if you have to dose sulfuric acid for pH control, you have two options. Either you slug dose का मतलब है कि आपने जितनी क्वांटिटी आपको पूरे दिन में चाहिए थी आपने उठाया और कूलिंग टावर में उसको इंजेक्ट कर दिया. So that sudden addition of sulfuric acid is going to reduce the pH to very low levels, and that is very corrosive in nature. But the other option that we have is to inject sulfuric acid drop by drop according to the need of the system. That is not at all corrosive. So sulfuric acid dosing is not corrosive at this. I mean, this is the right answer, I would say. But it all depends upon the application that we are using.
Perfect. So Narmeen had a she's having a follow-up question. How uh, sulfuric acid used in the water pre-treatment in RO plant can help hydrolysis of RO membrane? She wanted a bit of explanation of the process.
No, in RO plant, sulfuric acid is used to minimize the potential of deposition in RO membranes, because RO membranes are nothing but a separator, a mechanism of separation of salts from water. So you are forcing water to pass through the membranes, and you are retaining the molecules of salts into the membrane. So you can imagine when you are removing 95 to 99% of salt from the membranes, and you are choking the membranes. So there is a potential that membranes will get fouled very quickly. So in order to reduce the potential of fouling of the RO membranes, you inject acid to reduce the potential of uh, deposition in the membranes. So
Perfect. I
basic
hope
idea is to minimize the deposition potential in membranes.
so. I hope Narmeen आपको जवाब मिल गए हैं. If you need some more clarification, we are here till 5. Shabiul Hassan ने भी एक question पूछा है. He's an environment engineer working in China on chemical treatment. advanced oxidation process. So his question is that any industry in Pakistan which is using AOPs in any industry?
To my knowledge, I have never came across to any such arrangement so far. But I hope there are few, but I'm not aware of it. Because maybe this is something new. So in my circle, I've never came across such. But I would note it down, and I would love to know more about it. But so far, I've not heard of it.
So Khurram Shehzad is asking which technique is more economical, EDI or RO?
Well, just give me a moment, please. So I mean, this question need to be rephrased. EDI, RO are two different technologies. So I mean, it all depends upon the need, what you want to do. For example, if you go to power sector, power plants, they have steam turbines, and they need to have a very high purity steam to run those steam turbines. Otherwise, they are going to foul the steam blades, the turbine blades, and that is going to affect the performance of the machinery. So in that case, we need to have a very high purity water to be fed into the boiler system. So over there, they are using EDI. They are not comparing the cost of RO with an EDI, but they need an EDI or deionization of water to have a good quality water into the boiler.
Yeah.
But if you are comparing for a, I mean, if you have to have an answer on it, obviously, RO is not that expensive as compared to an electronic deionization system. But the application is different. So it is you who has to decide that which technology is going to be used. RO is for a different technology, a different application, and EDI is for a different technology or different application. So it all depends upon the application. We can't hear you, Mushfiq. Your mic is.
Yeah, so it all depends on the application and the requirement that the process has, whether you would go
Yes,
for
that's right.
deionization or an RO plant. So
Yeah.
Fahim, the next question, how important is water treatment for any industry? We've talked a little bit about it, but what are some of the consequences if a certain treatment program is not being run properly?
Well, there are three major problems. Again, I would like to share the presentation slide that I have prepared. So when we talk about water treatment, we are actually talking about three types of we may encounter in cooling water or boiler water systems. The first one and the most important is corrosion. You know, when we design equipment, we design it for a certain lifespan, for example, 20 years. So all that designing of lifespan depends upon the corrosion of the equipment. We are calculating a corrosion allowance, and we design equipment to last for certain number of years. So corrosion is what is basically degrading the equipment life. So higher the corrosion rate, the lower will be the lifespan. So we need to treat this problem. The other problem is of deposition. Deposition is because of the salts which are present in water. They can settle down due to solubility limits exceed, and there could be the possibility of suspended particles deposition in the heat exchanger plates. And the third one is the biofouling. The reason this chart I'm showing you over here is this because all of these problems are interlinked or associated with each other. For example, if we are trying to control corrosion and we do not foresee the potential of deposition, this deposition could lead to under deposit corrosion. This deposition could lead to biofouling. So we cannot ignore deposition. On the other hand, if we are treating water, for example, we are using very high purity water as cooling and we are eliminating the deposition and not focusing on corrosion, the corrosion will start because water is corrosive in any form, and when there are less number of salts in water, the water becomes more corrosive. So if we are not focusing on corrosion, it is ultimately going to create corrosion and corrosion products will lead to the formation of deposition. Similarly, if we are not focusing on biofouling, the biofouling, which is bacterial growth in the system, it could also lead to corrosion. It could also lead to deposition. So water treatment is very important. If we are not treating water according to the need of the system, we may encounter any or all of these problems. And once any of these problems is gets started, it is going to be an accumulative effect on the system. So we need to have a very good treatment approach to control these problems. So if there is no water treatment being done, we are going to run into problems. So water treatment is very important in terms of controlling these problems. And there is another saying that if we control biofouling, we can control 80% of the problems. But it doesn't mean that we focus on biofouling as such and we ignore corrosion and deposition. So these are the problems that we are focusing on to control while we are using a treatment program.
So it makes things very tricky for troubleshooting, especially if you've got a problem and they are so interlinked. So that makes things very difficult to, cope up, and especially with the kind of focus that is there on the water treatment side in the industry, because this is always considered something that is not given that kind of an importance versus the main plant that the industry is running. So what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
just to add on what you just said, I mean, some of the people, some of the industries, I mean, they consider this treatment as an expense. They are when at the end of the day, what we are doing is we are making up a P&L, profit and loss statement for our businesses. So every expense that goes out from our pocket hurts us. So this water treatment is unfortunately considered least important part in the industry. And लोगों को लगता है कि whatever we are doing, we are injecting a lot of money just for nothing. मतलब आप खुद देखें कि जब वाटर ट्रीटमेंट आपने करनी है उसके बाद वो पानी कहाँ जाता है, अल्टीमेटली वो पानी ड्रेन हो जाता है. So whatever chemical that you are putting in, whatever cost you are putting in, ultimately that water goes to drain. So that is the mindset. People are not focusing on the life of the equipment, they are focusing on the money that is being put in. So I mean, that is the dilemma, I would say.
So, do you see any difference in the approach that the water treatment program is taken in Pakistan and versus the rest of the world? What are some of the practices that are there worldwide, and how do we in Pakistan run?
Yes, again, a very good question. In rest of the world, but not exactly all of the countries, but in major uh, technically advanced countries, they are focusing on water reuse, and there is a terminology used, zero discharge. So what industries are looking at is to technically have no discharge from the industry. So whatever they have, they reuse it after treating it. All of the water that is being drained from the waste, from the domestic waste, from the industrial waste, from the cooling towers, from boilers, from RO reject, they accumulate all of the streams. They try to retreat and reuse that into the back into the industry. So that is one of the things that countries are focusing on. But again, it is a very um costly solution to water reuse. And in Pakistan, the mindset is generally to reduce the cost. I mean, अफसोस होता है कि कुछ टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज के अंदर अभी भी पानी को बगैर ट्रीट किए हमारे जो मेन ड्रेन चैनल्स हैं उनमें ड्रेन कर दिया जाता है. उसके अंदर मुख्तलिफ किस्म के केमिकल्स हैं which are hazardous to life, hazardous to human life and for the marine life and even for the animals around us. But nobody bothers unless there is a restriction from the producer or from the buyer. For example, Nike or Adidas, they have certain limits defined. Unless any manufacturer follow those guidelines, they cannot buy. So that is one of the things also that uh, other industries or the our countries outside Pakistan are focusing on. And the basic, I mean, one of the best model that I've came across is of Singapore country. It is a very small country, so they have easy management systems. So what they do is that whenever there is a rainfall, they have channels throughout the country. They collect the rainwater to their water treatment sections. They treat that rainwater and use it as for drinking of the people in the country. And then they
Wow.
collect all the domestic waste from the toilets, from the kitchen. They have a separate collection system for that water. They treat that water and supply to the industry. And when they have a waste from the industry, they treat it again and reuse to the industry. So this is how the other countries are doing, that they are reusing water again and again. And in India, what I heard a few years back, that they have developed a meter, and they have developed it for the farmers across the country. So whenever there is a need to water your fields, the farmers took that meter, they put it into the ground and see the moisture level inside the soil. And if there is a need for water, they open the water. Otherwise, they just conserve water from being wasted. So, I mean, there are different strategies being used. One good thing that happened at one of the plants, I'm not going to share the name of the plant just to conserve the, you know, the, what you call it,
Confidentiality.
yeah, confidentiality, that's the right word.
Yeah.
So government did not allow them to use subsoil water. Government did not allow them to use water from the nearby streams, and they had no option but to collect rainwater. And fortunately, that plant was located at a location where they have more rainfall compared to other parts of the country. So they collected rainwater, they treated it, they stored it, and then they used that water for the treatment. So now the government forced them to use and look for an option. That's why they went into that using rainwater as a source. But otherwise, no one is bothering because water is free. In my
Yeah.
home, in my hometown, everywhere, water is considered free. We are wasting it like anything. So in the industry, the same mindset. There are few applications I came across where the cooling water is completely eliminated from the plant, and they are using air cooled system. They have closed loops. They use water, but that water is in closed loop, so there is very less wastage. And then they use air cooled condensers to cool that closed loop water. So there are options available, but obviously that requires a lot of investment. It requires a lot of technicalities which we lack, unfortunately. So this is how other countries are going on.
I think sustainability goals of some of the world renowned companies, they are also making or maybe pushing companies to improve and conserve water and play their role for the environment. So sustainability goals for Pakistani companies, ये अभी just start हुआ है process. Secondly, Pakistan में the cost of water is so low that it doesn't make sense that you go for a total sort of a recycle plant and zero discharge के ऊपर हम जाएं. So probably legislation and costing, अगर ये थोड़ी सी improve होगी तो then it will push the industry towards that kind of a frame जहाँ पे आज दुनिया जो है वो काम कर रही है.
Yeah, just to share one thing with you, that at one of the power plant, which is a 200 megawatt IPP, the rate of evaporation, I mean the water that is being evaporated into the water into the air, is about 200 meter cubes per hour. It is a lot of water being evaporated, and that's most of the industries are doing. Fertilizer industry, where you are from, they are using a lot of huge quantities of water, but that is again the need of the system. So
Yeah.
for young engineers, there is a need to look for alternate options where water can be conserved. Water treatment, no doubt, is very important, but why do we need water? That is the question that young minds should explore. That do we have any other option? Do we have any other resources available to be used instead of water? Just
I
eliminate
think
water treatment.
it's a very important question that why do we need water and how can we reduce the consumption of water? It's a very good question, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
ओके फहीम, एक कुछ क्वेश्चंस हमारे पास आए हैं. नरमीन ने दोबारा से एक फॉलोअप क्वेश्चन पूछा था, कैन एसिड एडिशन फैसिलिटेट कोगुलेशन? इफ यस, हाउ?
Yes, It depends again on the if you're talking about coagulation or flocculation.
No coagulation.
Coagulation. Well, coagulation, it depends upon what type of coagulant are you using. There are different type of coagulant chemicals, and each have a specific pH range. So then again, this question is a very broad question. Uh, it all depend. My answer is that it all depend upon the chemistry that you are using. There are certain coagulants which use certain pH range to perform. So it depends on what type, but yes, addition of pH do help in coagulation processes to improve the coagulation process.
So Narmeen, I think you can contact Fahim directly and maybe can अगर जो भी information आपको चाहिए आप फहीम से directly भी ले सकती हैं. Fahim is there in the group also, so you can find his contact. एक comment शबी ने हमें किया है advanced oxidation process जो कि मेरे लिए भी नई term है, but उन्होंने explain किया कि advanced oxidation process are chemical based industrial water treatment process used for removing organic and inorganic containment from industrial water, for example, removal of dyes and other compounds that are being used in the textile industry. So good information.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm not aware of it.
Shabi, yeah, Shabi ने ये किया था. Qazi Wasif ने question किया, is there any work being done on digitization of ROs using technology advancement which can help to increase efficiency and health of membranes?
Could you please repeat the first part of the question?
Is there any work being done on digitization of ROs using technology advancement?
What do you mean by digitalization? I mean, if you are talking about automation, so there's a lot of work being done. There are already instruments in place. There are already procedures in place where you use a lot of automation for the RO plants. So by digitalization, if you are referring to automation, so I mean yes, a lot of work is being done and already been done in the past. So is this what he's asking about?
Maybe Qazi can have a follow-up question. But since we are talking about the cost efficiencies, what are some of the ways? How can we reduce the treatment cost and how to bring efficiencies in the water treatment process?
Well, again, it depends upon what type of application you are talking about. Just considering it as a general question, I would like to focus on cooling water system because that is my specialty. So in terms of cooling water treatment, you can minimize the treatment cost by doing various what you call modification in the system. For example, if you have to treat cooling water where water quality is not good and you are wasting a lot of water, you can improve the quality of water by having an RO plant as a pre-treatment to improve the water quality, and then you use that water as a source of cooling into the cooling tower. So less number of salts will obviously is going to have a lesser effect of scaling, and you will need a less amount of scale inhibitors. But at the same time, you will be requiring more corrosion inhibitor in that water. But the main thing is that the time water is being circulated in the system, it depends on the quality of water. If you are using RO water, for example, you will minimize the consumption of water ultimately compared to a high purity water or high contamination water. Well, this kind of discussion requires a separate kind of presentation. I would, if you would like to have a different session, I can run some calculations, some presentation slide on how to do the water treatment calculations and what are the chemicals that are being used. In that manner, you would be able to see that how we can conserve or how we can have efficiencies in water treatment. So it depends upon different type of application that we have. So there is no one answer to it. I'm sorry about that, but it depends on what kind of application you have. But there are ways and means available to minimize the treatment cost.
So Majid ने हमसे पूछा है कि जी can you recommend some books on water treatment and chemistry?
Yeah, there are two books which I really like reading, and I always turn back to them. One is from Kurita. It is available in soft form with me. I can share with the group if allowed, but it is a heavy file, so share. And then there's one book from Drew Industrial Division. This is the company which we are representing in Pakistan. The reason I like Drew book is it is very basic. It has got all the basic information regarding water treatment. So I have a scanned copy of that too. I can share with the group. So these two books are very good in my opinion. Then there is another book by Nelco, but that is sort of a handbook. It has got a lot of calculations, a lot of formulas and correlations and all those things. So if there's any engineer who is interested to go beyond the normal water treatment terminologies, he can look for Nalco's book also. And then
So
there
what we
are
will,
few
yeah.
I mean, there is another book from Nalco which specifically talk about the problems being encountered in cooling water and boiler water sections. So those books are available, unfortunately not in Pakistan, but on Amazon. I can share the name of those books. But those are specifically related to the problems being encountered in water industry. So these are really good books.
Yeah, and I think based on the discussion that we had, it's very important for an engineer to develop and some knowledge of water treatment and heat treatment program that particular industry is running, because होता ये है कि वाटर ट्रीटमेंट उतना ही फोकस ले पाता है जितना हम उसे देते हैं, और then we run into different sort of problems. So it's very important for an engineer to go through the water treatment chemistry and develop the skill set for this particular domain. Asad Naeem ने एक बड़ा out of the box question पूछा है. Do you think there will be a need for desalination plant in Karachi to cover increasing water supply demand?
And there is already one desalination plant in Karachi. So the problem with desalination is the huge investment. Who is going to do that is the main question. So desalination is very commonly used in Saudi Arabia, in all those countries in that region, because they are running short on underground water. So they use seawater for desalination and then use that water as drinking. Even Malaysia, even Singapore, they do have desalination plants. So desalination is an important, very important aspect. But because of the cost involved, the initial cost, the capital cost involved with the desalination projects, so the question came up that who is going to set up that plant. So, but that is one of the good options available to fight against the shortage of water.
I think न्यूज आई थी मेरे पास कि जी एंग्रो कुछ काम करना चाह रही है, या वेस्ट के ऊपर काम करना चाह रही है कराची में, या वाटर के ऊपर काम करना चाह रही है. सो आई एम नॉट श्योर, बट yes, I think in Karachi there is a severe problem of water, and desalination plant will help.
Yeah, I mean, one
Yeah,
more
go ahead,
comment
sorry.
is instead of desalination is just limited to Karachi. What about other countries? I mean, unfortunately, हमारे यहाँ पे डोमेस्टिक वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट के ऊपर कोई काम नहीं किया था. गवर्नमेंट की कोई रेगुलेशंस नहीं है.
Yeah.
I remember I visited Islamabad back in 2006 or 2007, and there was a wastewater treatment plant designed by the government. और उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये था कि पूरे शहर का, पूरे इस्लामाबाद का पानी इकट्ठा किया जाएगा उस वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट के ऊपर. वहां पे उसकी ट्रीटमेंट की जाएगी और उस पानी को रीयूज किया जाएगा इनटू द सिटी फॉर डोमेस्टिक पर्पसेस, नॉट फॉर ड्रिंकिंग. अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो पूरी इन्वेस्टमेंट हुई, प्लांट वहां पे इंस्टॉल हो चुका हुआ है, आज तक वहां पे इंस्टॉल्ड है, लेकिन एक दफा भी चलने का नाम नहीं लिया उसने. इसी तरह से कसूर साइड पे अगर आप चले जाते हैं, कसूर में छोटी बड़ी बहुत टैनरीज हैं. जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे मोहल्ले हैं, वहां पे मोहल्ले के हर घर के अंदर एक टैनरी है. उस टैनरी का वेस्ट ड्रेन किया जाता है बाहर नाले के अंदर, और गवर्नमेंट ने वहां पे एक प्रॉपर प्रोजेक्ट लगाया हुआ है जो कि ह्यूज प्रोजेक्ट है, और तमाम शहर का टैनरी का वेस्ट उस प्लांट के ऊपर इकट्ठा किया जाता है ताकि उसको ट्रीट किया जाए. बड़े बड़े लगून्स हैं, बेतहाशा किस्म का इक्विपमेंट लगा हुआ है, लेकिन अगेन अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो वहां पे शायद जानवरों ने कब्जा कर लिया है. कबूतरों ने वहां पे घोंसले बना लिए हैं, चिड़ियां रहती हैं वहां पे, लेकिन वो प्लांट नहीं चलता. So instead of focusing on desalination, which is a very cost intensive projects, why don't we start looking at smaller projects? Why don't we go and look for domestic water treatment? Even हम अपने घरों को क्यों नहीं देखते? हमारे घरों में नॉर्मली सेप्टिक टैंक्स होते हैं. हम उन सेप्टिक टैंक्स के ऊपर क्यों नहीं वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट पे जाते कि एटलीस्ट हम अपने घरों को अपने घरों के वेस्ट को रीयूज करें फॉर मे बी फॉर टॉयलेट्स और फॉर डोमेस्टिक यूज। ड्रिंकिंग पे ना जाए, वहां पे हलाल हराम का कॉन्सेप्ट आ जाता है, लेकिन हम क्यों नहीं उस पानी को इस्तेमाल करते? तो लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम आवर ओन होम इंस्टेड ऑफ पुटिंग अप अ डिसैलिनेशन प्लांट इन कराची।
वंडरफुल थॉट्स। आई थिंक इट्स वो कहते हैं ना, आपने नेल कर दिया है थॉट को कि द काइंड ऑफ फोकस दैट वी नीड टू गिव ऑन वाटर ट्रीटमेंट एंड वाटर कंजर्वेशन, वो नहीं है, चाहे वो लेजिस्लेशन साइड हो चाहे इंडिविजुअल साइड हो। एंड सिंस द कॉस्टिंग इज सो लो, तो इंडस्ट्री का भी उसका फोकस नहीं है। तो एनी एनवायरमेंट प्रोजेक्ट, इफ इट इज लिंक्ड विद सम आईआरआर, तो वो उसके होने के चांसेस हैं वो दे इंक्रीज मल्टीफोल्ड।
या एग्जैक्टली ये आईआरआर इज एक्चुअली जो हमें कुछ करना ही नहीं देता, क्योंकि जब भी इंडस्ट्री में कोई इस तरह के प्रोजेक्ट की बात की जाती है तो उसके आईआरआर जो है वो हमेशा नेगेटिव ही आते हैं, और वो उसमें उसको फिर वहीं पे रोक दिया जाता है।
अच्छा जी, फ़हीम साहब, आपके सेशन की डिमांड कुछ बढ़ गई है। नरमीन ने कहा है कि जी, वी वांट द सेशन रिगार्डिंग एफिशिएंसी एनहांसमेंट, स्पेशली रिगार्डिंग द केमिकल डोजिंग ऑप्टिमाइजेशन। So we'll try to manage the session, Narmeen. Uh, अच्छा जी,
श्योर।
Fahim, what do you think? How competitive is the water treatment industry in Pakistan? क्या आप competitive है, या there are few players that are operating?
नहीं, फ्यू प्लेयर्स वाली बात तो कुछ सालों पहले तक थी। आई वुड से टिल 2000 2005 उस वक्त तक फ्यू प्लेयर्स थे, इंटरनेशनली रिकॉग्नाइज्ड प्लेयर्स मौजूद थे पाकिस्तान में, जिनमें नेल्को, बकमैन, सोलेनस या एशलैंड, these were the major, and GE, General Electric का water treatment division which is now Swiss, Veolia अभी recently आई। तो ये कुछ players थे मार्केट में जो ऑपरेट कर रहे थे, उनमें से ज्यादातर की मोनोपोली थी। लेकिन आहिस्ता-आहिस्ता व्हाट आई हैव सीन के बेशुमार लोकल इंडस्ट्री भी इसमें डेवलप होना शुरू हो गई है। लेकिन
हम्म,
अनफॉर्चुनेटली जिन लोगों ने इन इन इंडस्ट्रीज के अंदर कदम रखा है वो इंजीनियर्स नहीं है, वो डिजाइनर्स नहीं है, वो आर एंड डी के लोग नहीं है। उन्होंने सिर्फ कॉपी पेस्ट किया है। एक इंटरनेशनल कंपनी की फॉर्मूलेशन को समझते हुए कुछ चीज़ें मार्केट से खरीदी और उसको ब्लेंड किया और बेचना शुरू कर दिया। उनमें कुछ कंपनियाँ ऐसी भी हैं जो बहुत अच्छी हैं, लेकिन मेजॉरिटी ऐसी हैं जो कि सिर्फ मक्खी पे मक्खी मार रही हैं और चला रहे हैं। सो अब कॉम्पिटिशन इस तरह से हो गया कि लोकल इंडस्ट्री की वजह से और चाइना की प्रेज़ेंस की वजह से कॉम्पिटिशन बहुत टफ होता चला जा रहा है। कॉस्ट कटिंग बैटल एक तरह से शुरू हो चुकी है, एक-दूसरे को आप लेट डाउन करने के लिए या उस प्रोजेक्ट्स को विन करने के लिए कॉस्ट को मिनिमाइज़ कर रहे हैं। तो अब वाटर ट्रीटमेंट उतनी एक्सपेंसिव नहीं रही जितनी कि आज से कुछ 10-15 साल पहले थी। लेकिन स्टिल हमारे पास क्वालिटी का इश्यू है। अगर आप क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट की बात करते हैं तो अभी भी हमारे पास चंद प्लेयर्स हैं मार्केट में जो अवेलेबल हैं, जो क्वालिटी की प्रोडक्ट दे रहे हैं। उसके अलावा बाकी तमाम लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं जिनके पास आर-एंड-डी नहीं है। सो दिस इज़ अगेन वन ऑफ द areas where the young engineers can look into. They can
yeah.
go out for the opportunity. They can have their own R&D facilities. They can develop better quality products in Pakistan at a very cost-effective options. So competitive market है, क्योंकि अब players काफी सारे हैं।
So do you think इस R&D में we can jump in, because हमने हमेशा से सुना कि वाटर ट्रीटमेंट इंडस्ट्री जो है ये तो 100 साल पुरानी रिसर्च है और इवॉल्व हुई है ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम। डू यू थिंक द यंग इंजीनियर्स एंड सम ऑफ द स्पॉन्सर्स मे बी we can do some R&D and bring some local products which are quality products, and उसको लेके हम चल सकते
Yeah, I mean, R&D in the world is still going on, even though this industry is 100 more than 100 years old, but still
हैं?
R&D
Yeah.
is being done. People are working on biodegradable chemicals, which can be, I mean, used in the industry. And even if you are draining it into the mainstreams, you are not posing any harm to the marine life. And then there is zero discharge, Z ZDHC, zero discharge hazardous control limit, something like that. The countries are working on it, that you do not use any chemical. You are not allowed to use any chemical which has got even a slightest percentage of hazardous chemical in it. So R&D is always going on. But my point is that why do we need to have water treatment? The main question जो अभी हमने थोड़ी देर पहले रखा था कि R&D की जरूरत है to find alternate means. Why water? Why not air? Why not any other uh, resource that can be used for the treatment of the to meet our requirement as the industry. So R&D is, I mean, still
Yeah.
available.
Fahim, we've got 9-10 minutes with us. Could you please shed some light on wastewater treatment, जो कि पाकिस्तान के लिए काफी मेजर एरिया है, स्पेशली विद द टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, और इसके अंदर जो बायर है उसकी तरफ से काफी पुश है. So how do you see wastewater treatment in Pakistan and the potential of that market?
पोटेंशियल एग्जिस्ट करता है, लेकिन फिर वही बात है कि यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कोई पुश नहीं है. यहाँ पे हमारे यहाँ पे नेशनल एनवायरमेंटल क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, NEQS, जो कि बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट हैं कंपेयर टू अदर कंट्रीज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. तो ये एक अच्छी चीज़ है कि हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने स्ट्रिक्ट रूल्स बनाए. लेकिन अफसोस इस बात का होता है कि उन स्ट्रिक्ट रूल्स को इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करवाया जा रहा. आज भी मैं देखता हूँ अनफॉर्चुनेटली कि टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री एक वाहिद सेक्टर है इस वक्त पाकिस्तान में जहाँ पे वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट के ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा जोर दिया जाता है और वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट की जा रही है. लेकिन दैट इज नॉट, आई मीन, कि टेक्सटाइल ओनर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, वो बायर की रिक्वायरमेंट है.
Yeah.
नाइकी, एडिडास, ज़ारा, वो परचेज ही नहीं करेंगे आपसे जब तक आप वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट इंस्टॉल नहीं करेंगे, जब तक आपके पानी जो कि आप ड्रेन कर रहे हैं वो स्टैंडर्ड NEQS की लिमिट्स को फॉलो नहीं करता होगा, वो आपके प्रोडक्ट को रिजेक्ट कर देंगे. उन बायर्स की तरफ से यहाँ पे सरप्राइज विजिट्स किए जाते हैं, छापे मारे जाते हैं, देखा जाता है कि प्लांट्स ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं नहीं कर रहे हैं, वाटर सैंपल्स कलेक्ट किए जाते हैं, उनका एनालिसिस होता है. तो ये इम्प्लीमेंटेशन अगर बाहर की कंट्रीज पाकिस्तान में आके पाकिस्तानी लोगों को ही इस्तेमाल करते हुए कर सकते हैं, तो हमारी गवर्नमेंट भी कर सकती है. इसके अलावा और इंडस्ट्रीज में चले जाएं जो छोटे टेक्सटाइल प्लेयर्स हैं जिन्होंने इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में सेल नहीं करना, वो ट्रीटमेंट नहीं करते हैं. फिर एक और कॉन्सेप्ट है जो एक क्वेश्चन एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में कुछ साल पहले पूछा गया था कि मेरी एक मिल है जो मैं बाहर चीज़ें बेच रहा हूँ और मेरे लिए वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट करना लाज़मी है क्योंकि मेरा बायर खरीदेगा नहीं. लेकिन मेरे साथ जो नेबर में जो टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री है उसके लिए तो ऐसी कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है. तो वो बगैर ट्रीटमेंट के पानी ड्रेन कर रहा है, मैं ट्रीटमेंट के साथ पानी को ड्रेन कर रहा हूँ, तो मेरी तो कॉस्ट बढ़ गई, मेरी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी रिड्यूस हो गई. तो मुझे कितने नफ़रों का सवाब मिल रहा है कि मैं उसको ट्रीटमेंट करके भेजूँ, तो पानी तो वो गंदा ऑलरेडी कर ही रहा है. तो जब गवर्नमेंट उसको नहीं रोक रही है, तो मुझे क्यों एम्फसाइज़ किया जा रहा है? तो ये क्वेश्चन है कि हमारे यहाँ पे वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट का पोटेंशियल बेतहाशा है. इसलिए कि हमने अभी पिछले दिनों एक बड़ी डिबेट चली थी कि पानी 2024 में खत्म हो जाएगा. एकदम से हलचल मची थी, हर इंडस्ट्री ने जो वाटर कंजर्वेशन के ऊपर काम शुरू कर दिया. लेकिन फिर एक और रिसर्च आई, पता चला कि नहीं 2024 में नहीं होगा, हो सकता है 2030 तक हम चले जाएँ. सारी कंपनियाँ पे ठंडी पड़ गई, कोई नहीं अभी तो बहुत टाइम है, बाद में देखेंगे. तो अब वेस्ट वाटर का पोटेंशियल एग्जिस्ट करता है. बेतहाशा वाटर है जिसको हम अपने घरों से लेकर अपनी सोसाइटी से लेके पूरी सिटीज की वेस्ट वाटर मैनेजमेंट की तरफ जा सकते हैं. लेकिन इसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के लिए हमें गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से सपोर्ट चाहिए जो कि अनफॉर्चुनेटली इस वक्त अवेलेबल नहीं है. तो मतलब पोटेंशियल एग्जिस्ट करता है. टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन, बेतहाशा पोटेंशियल.
अच्छा, इसका मतलब ये है कि द माइंडसेट जो हम जिससे आ रहे हैं वो इंटायरली सेल्स ड्रिवन है वर्सेस कॉन्शियस कॉर्पोरेट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वाला एलिमेंट वेयर वी आर ट्रीटिंग आवर वेस्ट वाटर इन अ सेंसिबल वे और रिस्पॉन्सिबल होके हम ये काम करें. आई थिंक जब तक लेजिस्लेशन और गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से पुश इसके ऊपर नहीं आता, विच सूनर और लेटर आना ही होगा, अदरवाइज इसके अंदर बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. तो व्हाट डू यू थिंक
एग्जैक्टली.
जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके लिए वेस्ट वाटर की जो लाइन है, ये जो डोमेन है, इसके अंदर इतना पोटेंशियल है कि दे कैन सेल देयर, मे बी दे कैन गो इनटू डिटेल्स और अपना कैरियर इसके अंदर डेवलप कर सकें.
आई मीन फिर वही बात दोबारा से कि अगर स्टूडेंट इस स्टेज पे काम करते हैं और जब तक वो ग्रेजुएट हो जाते हैं उसके बाद अगर गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कोई रेगुलेशन नहीं तो उस इस स्टडी का वो क्या करेंगे. तो
या
यहाँ पे बेशुमार कंपनियां हैं जो वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स के ऊपर काम करते हैं. यहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, वेस्ट वाटर डिजाइनिंग इंजीनियर्स की भी कमी है मार्केट के अंदर. तो ये एक अच्छी फील्ड है. आई होप कि अगर लोग इसमें आते हैं और अल्टीमेटली इन्हीं में से कुछ लोग अगर ऊपर डिसीजन मेकिंग वाले फेज में चले जाते हैं तो अल्टीमेटली इसका बेनिफिट होगा.
आई थिंक देयर इज सम होप बिकॉज टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री अगर पाकिस्तान में ग्रो करनी है तो ये एक माइंडसेट लाना पड़ेगा, और गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भी पुश अगर नहीं आता तो बहुत ही अनफॉर्चुनेट होगा.
नहीं, इसमें मैं एक और चीज़ अभी रिसेंटली एक 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 टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री के ऊपर एक प्लांट इंस्टॉल हो रहा है, वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट है. वहाँ पे पाकिस्तानी कंपनियों ने भी बिड किया था और वहाँ पे इंटरनेशनल कंपनियों ने भी बिड किया था. तो अल्टीमेटली जो ऑर्डर प्लेस किया गया वो एक इंटरनेशनल कंपनी को प्लेस किया गया क्योंकि उनका ये खौफ था कि जो पाकिस्तानी कंपनियाँ हैं वो प्रॉपर्ली डिजाइन नहीं करती हैं, तो हमने एक फॉरेन कंपनी से इसकी डिजाइनिंग भी करवानी है और इंस्टॉलेशन भी करवानी है। तो ये भी एक हमारे यहाँ एक क्या कहना चाहिए, एक
Dilemma.
खौफ है कि हमारे लोगों के पास अभी वो रिसोर्सेज नहीं है, और उसकी वजह यही है कि प्रोफेशनल लोग आगे इस फील्ड में नहीं आते। जो लोग आ रहे हैं वो किताबों के बेसिस के ऊपर या मक्खी पे मक्खी मार रहे हैं। हो सकता है कुछ लोग उनमें ऐसे बैठे हों इस वक्त सेशन में जो उससे रिलेटेड हों। आई एम सॉरी, मैं किसी की मतलब ये नहीं कह रहा कि कोई कंपनी अच्छा काम नहीं कर रही, लेकिन मोस्ट ऑफ द फर्म्स इन पाकिस्तान, दे आर सिंपली कॉपी पेस्टिंग थिंग्स फ्रॉम वन प्रोजेक्ट टू अनदर, जिसकी वजह से हमारा एक कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल लैग करता है।
अच्छा फहीम, दो क्वेश्चंस हमारे पास हैं। आसिफ ने क्वेश्चन किया है, कंसीडरिंग द फर्टिलाइजर प्लांट वेयर CO2 इज abundantly available, आसिफ इतनी ज्यादा अवेलेबल नहीं होती, बट can we go for CO2 to control pH in cooling towers, and what are some of the
We
challenges that
cannot.
we cannot?
कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एक तो गैसियस फॉर्म में है, वो बेसिकली कूलिंग टावर में जैसे ही जाएगी वो उसके एलिबरेट होने के या डिस्चार्ज होने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हैं।
Yeah.
कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कार्बोनिक एसिड का काम करेगी, लेकिन कार्बोनिक एसिड इज अ वेरी वीक एसिड कंपेयर्ड टू सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड, और इस वजह से आई डोंट थिंक। दूसरी चीज, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कैन लीड टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ बाइकार्बोनेट्स or carbonates, and those bicarbonates and carbonates ultimately lead to the formation of salts. So carbon dioxide का इस्तेमाल for pH control, in my opinion, would not be a good option.
अच्छा, जहांगीर ने पूछा है कि जी, बल्कि उन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट की है कि इफ यू कैन अपलोड दी सॉफ्ट कॉपीज ऑफ वाटर ट्रीटमेंट बुक्स एंड प्रेजेंटेशन, तो
Sure, I will
जहांगीर
do
विल
that.
ट्राई, हाँ विल ट्राई कि अगर वो साइज में ज्यादा भी है तो विल फाइंड अ वे हम ये शेयर कर सकें फहीम से लेके। अच्छा फहीम, on what are your closing thoughts on any tips that you want to give to young engineers, especially the students that are there in the academia, that how water treatment is and how it can be a career path for them?
Yeah, I mean, my message to the young students is that the water treatment is going to be a game changer in coming years. Not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but down the road, ultimately, water is going to be the most precious resource on this planet. So, if you are considering water treatment as your career, I think it is the right time to focus on what are the options that we have. But instead of following the norms, the need is to drive yourself, to invent something new, to go out of the box and think on different options that are available. इससे पहले कि दुनिया की और कोई कंट्री हमारे ऊपर कोई एक टेक्नोलॉजी लेकर आए, why shouldn't we go out and tell them that this is what we have? So जो अभी तक वाटर ट्रीटमेंट चलती चली आ रही है, उसको समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट दैट इज नॉट the only option that we have. We should look for ways and means to go beyond that. So that's my message to the students.
Thank you so much Fahim for your time. I know busy times
Very
है,
much.
but आपने टाइम निकाला, ज्वाइन किया। देयर आर लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस और आई होप के वी विल कंटिन्यू दिस डिस्कशन ऑन वाटर ट्रीटमेंट इन द ग्रुप, और जो भी कुछ लोगों के सवालात होंगे वो आप उसको रिस्पॉन्ड जरूर कीजिएगा। बट वंस अगेन थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर टाइम एंड व्यूअर्स।
Thank you very much.
So viewers, we'll try our level best to bring more sessions, technical sessions, और
Sure.
उसको हम ला के यकीनन और भी लोगों को इसके अंदर इनवाइट करेंगे, बट we'll invite Fahim also for some efficiency driven sessions जहाँ पे हम वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्रोग्राम्स की कॉस्ट को ऑप्टिमाइज कर सकें। थैंक यू सो मच।
Exactly.
साइनिंग ऑफ, टेक केयर, अल्लाह हाफिज।
Allah Hafiz.